as promised, we are now at that point in the textbook that is one of the most profound set of teaching concepts, ideas about the inner psychology of the human experience, about uprooting those things that do not serve us well. The course calls them the obstacles to peace. And I'll just tell you there's 4 of them. And we'll, over the next several sessions, we'll cover them one at a time. We're not in a hurry here. These are more protracted sections, so we'll take them as they come. Welcome to Miracles on High Plains. My name is Jonica, and our reader for today is Atisha. Atisha, you may find the first sentence or 2 is not in your book.
Okay. Your relationship is now a temple of healing, a place where all the weary ones can come and find rest. Here is the rest that waits for all after the journey, and it is brought nearer to all by your relationship. As this peace extends from deep inside yourself to embrace all the sonship and give it rest, it will encounter many obstacles. Some of them you will try to impose. Others will seem to arise from elsewhere, from your brothers, and from various aspects of the world outside. Yet peace will gently cover them, extending past completely unencumbered. The extension of the Holy Spirit's purpose from your relationship to others to bring them gently in is the way in which He will bring means and goal in line. The peace He lay deep within you and your brother will quietly extend to every aspect of your life, surrounding you and your brother with glowing happiness and the calm awareness of complete protection. And you will carry its message of love and safety and freedom to everyone who draws nigh unto your temple, where healing waits for him. You will not wait to give him this, for you will call to him and he will answer you, recognizing in your call the call for God. And you will draw him in and give him rest, as it was given you.
Mm-hmm. So this opening paragraph, particularly the first half, is very foundational for understanding what's about to occur with the rest of the obstacles to peace. So we want to make sure we pause here. The basis here is your relationship with the creation and the Creator's plan, your relationship to everything, your holy relationship. Becomes a place of rest and peace. It is an interior experience that shines outward, that you trust that you are a part of a grand plan that's completely in your favor. And so that brings an inner peace. And this inner peace extends from deep inside yourself, call it your deep inside your mind, to and wants to embrace the entire sonship. From deep within your mind, embracing all of creation. And as it starts to emerge, it encounters obstacles in your mind. These are the obstacles to peace. It will encounter many obstacles. Some of them are obstacles that you're consciously imposing. We'll cover all this, what we mean in detail. Other obstacles will seem to be from external sources, maybe from your brothers, This is from the blaming the world for your lack of peace, or whatever story you can identify that I'm not peaceful because of that. Um, Yet, peace will prevail. This is an eternal plan. It's not short term or time bound. It will prevail, and because it's a part of the Holy Spirit's plan, and it's already fully present from deep within you, the part that we are awaiting the full manifestation is for that peace to extend outward and embrace everyone. But it can't embrace everyone when there are obstacles in our minds. And so the obstacles to peace become the task here. This peace he lays deep within you and your brother. So the assertion is here that the light of God is within everybody, and everyone was created exactly as the Creator, talking about their spirit, created as the Creator intended, and so that peace lies in everyone. And it is our destiny that this will quietly extend to every aspect of your life, surrounding you and your brother with glowing happiness and the awareness of complete correction. And as a result of this interior peace, remember, peace is the absence of conflict, it's the absence of fear, and all of what we talked about in ego centric view of the world is let go, so that this peace might emerge, and that becomes a transformative process. So peace is deep within you, and it of itself wants to emerge, but it won't do it against your will. It won't do it against the barriers in your mind that you consciously and unconsciously have placed in your own mind. So these barriers, the good news is there's a plan for how to remove the barriers. And it's the same plan for all of us. So you're no different than anybody else. It's not that it's more difficult for you. Remember, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. And so we need to look at those barriers.
All this will you do. Yet the peace that already lies deeply within must first expand and flow across the obstacles you placed before it. This will you do, for nothing undertaken with the Holy Spirit remains unfinished. You can indeed be sure of nothing you see outside you, but of this you can be sure. The Holy Spirit asks that you offer him a resting place where you will rest in him. He answered you and entered your relationship. Would you not now return his graciousness and enter into a relationship with him? For it is he who offered your relationship the gift of holiness, without which it would have been forever impossible to appreciate your brother.
So the Holy Spirit has infinite patience and has throughout all time available to bring about the transformation in the entire sonship. You can be sure that, here's the one. Nothing undertaken by the Holy Spirit remains unfinished. But of this, you can be sure that the Holy Spirit asks you for a place of rest within you. And so, one way you can begin becoming more aware of this is by seeking rest. an inner calm, a tranquility, a serenity. Typically, we do this when we close our eyes and meditate. Uh, that would be the best place to begin. Your workbook lessons will also invoke an awareness of this calmness and serenity. So we can't do this by ourselves. This whole purpose is initiated by the Holy Spirit, and it involves a relationship about our relating ourselves to the Holy Spirit. That is the foundation for removing these obstacles. We're not going to do it our way. We're going to follow the Holy Spirit's plan and guide. Like I said, it's the same obstacles for everyone. Although the details and the way you think about those obstacles can vary, but broadly speaking, they are the same obstacles. So we do this with our relationship, our guidance from the Holy Spirit. Paul, you had your hand up and then you put it down.
Yeah, thank you, Jonica. There was it makes reference here to that because we enter into that relationship with the Holy Spirit, that then we offer that relationship the gift of holiness, in which it would be impossible to appreciate our brother. Could you elaborate on that just a little bit more? The holiness seems to be the gift of holiness, then appreciate
Mm-hmm.
our brother,
Last,
our people.
that last sentence. So, Holy Spirit gives all the gifts. He who offered your relation, the Holy Spirit has offered us this gift of awareness of our holiness. And that holiness is such that it is not limited or self contained. It is shared, extended to everyone. It's the thread that ties all of creation together, a holy creation. Without it, it would be impossible to appreciate your brother without holiness. For in other words, we would be at that thread. If the thread were missing, we would fragment into our own selfishness and wind up not appreciating each other. But with the thread of holiness, we realize that we're all interlinked into a common plan that, and ultimately we share all that as one.
Thank you.
Okay, we're finished the first section here.
The gratitude you owe to him, he asks but that you receive for him. And when you look with gentle graciousness upon your brother, you are beholding him. For you are looking where he is and not apart from him. You cannot see the Holy Spirit, but you can see your brothers truly. And the light in them will show you all that you need to see. When the peace in you has been extended to encompass everyone, the Holy Spirit's function here will be accomplished. What need is there for seeing then? When God has taken the last step himself, the Holy Spirit will gather all the thanks and gratitude that you have offered him and lay them gently before his Creator in the name of his most holy Son. And the Father will accept them in his name. What need is there of seeing in the presence of his gratitude?
Mm-hmm. So these last few lines are about when all this task is done, when the peace in you has been extended to encompass everyone, then then it is accomplished. And there's no, at that point, the limitations of perception, our limited ability to understand the life, the world, ourselves, each other, will have been lifted, and we will elevate into a state of knowledge. So there's no need for seeing, there's no need for perception. There'll be pure awareness of the oneness. Now, I will mention that there are other traditions that attempt to go immediately into pure awareness of oneness without addressing this ugly, nasty interference that goes on. And so I just point out to you what would happen if you still had all these obstacles in the way and attempted to assert pure oneness while your mind is still loyal to beliefs of the ego. Can you see how that would split you into two different mindsets rather than integrate you into one? So what the Course says is, first, we take the beam out of our own eye. First, we get rid of, undo the ego, and then the path to integration with oneness is clear. Oh, one other thing, which will be stressed again and again. We've talked about it before. The Course says you should not look for the Holy Spirit within yourself, because that's a self-centered approach to finding the Holy Spirit. It's an egoistic approach to finding the Holy Spirit. He says, you look with graciousness upon your brother, then you are beholding him. For you are looking where he is, not apart from him. You cannot see the Holy Spirit, but you can see the manifestation in your brothers truly. And so this would not be the way most, perhaps I or you, would want to approach the matter. We'd want to approach the matter by some inner introspection. So the Course emphasizes that it's a holy relationship. This is your relationship with creation. You must find it as brothers are mirrors of ourselves. You must find it in relationship with them. So that's our introduction. If you were to portray those ideas in the visual domain, they might look a little bit like this, where this piece that is the inner light is deep within you. And as that light radiates upward, it encounters these obstacles. Which is our task here, is to identify those obstacles, realize that they're not really as frightening as the ego would have them think it is. And then when the obstacles are removed, there's no barriers to the light extending to embrace everyone. And once that's done, the Holy Spirit's goal is accomplished. So now we go on to the first obstacle to peace. This is my own creation. Obstacle 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, we have two twos here. Isn't that interesting? All right. And then once we remove those obstacles, we're completely free.
The first obstacle that peace must flow across is your desire to get rid of it. For it cannot extend unless you keep it. You are the center from which it radiates outward to call the others in. You are its home, its tranquil dwelling place from which it gently reaches out, but never leaving you. If you would make it homeless, how can it abide within the Son of God? If it would spread across the whole creation, it must begin with you, and from you reach to everyone who calls, and bring him rest by joining you. Why would you want peace homeless?
Why would you want peace homeless? There's more to this than you might first imagine. The desire to get rid of peace is obviously the ego's goal. So maybe someone in traffic cuts in front of you suddenly and you respond with emotional reactions of fear and frustration and maybe anger. You lose your tranquility. Anything that runs counter to the tranquil dwelling place within where rest and peace is found, you know what those feelings are like, the ones that run counter. That entire, and it's not just emotions, but certainly we can quickly catch the emotional feeling tone to it, but it also results in a wide variety of thoughts, of which are judgmental, spreading guilt and attack and up, and it's a cauldron of ego sponsored thoughts and feelings. That would be the desire to get rid of peace. To the extent that you persist with those thoughts and feelings that you, let's say, for the next 10 minutes, engage in that, you're actually opposing peace. You're making peace here. It describes it as making peace homeless, so that you can instead engage in thoughts and feelings which seem very justifiable from the little point of view of the ego. The ego always thinks that it's perfectly justified in all these opinions and all these emotions. And so the peace has to begin with you. It has to begin with an investment. I'll use a number of words here: an investment, a commitment, an intentionality, a willingness, a determination, a practice. All of that, it shows that this is what you want. You want this more than the desire to feel justified in sharing the guilt. You want peace more than they have a saying: would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? It's kind of captured right there. Would you rather have your ego be right and put the other person in their place, or would you rather be happy and remain at peace?
Why would you want peace homeless? What do you think that it must dispossess to dwell with you? What seems to be the cost you are so unwilling to pay? The little barrier of sand still stands between you and your brother. Would you reinforce it now? You are not asked to let it go for yourself alone. Christ asks it of you for himself. He would bring peace to everyone. And how can he do this except through you? Would you let a little bank of sand, a wall of dust, a tiny seeming barrier stand between your brothers and salvation? And yet, this little remnant of attack you cherish still against your brother is the first obstacle the peace in you encounters in its going forth. This little wall of hatred would still oppose the will of God and keep it limited.
So, to try to illustrate this sentence, this little remnant of attack you cherish still against your brother, that's the obstacle. And the explanation here is when we judge others, this is an ego laden activity. We've decided that we are to be the judge of others. That in itself is a form of attack, because anything that comes out of that choice that I'm going to judge others is just that, an attack against others. And when we do that, this is an obstacle to peace. It's a little remnant of attack. And this can take many very subtle forms that may not be overt disregard, dislike in its most severe expression. Perhaps it's a quiet dismissal of another person. There was something I saw recently where there were all these adults and a child approached someone asking for something, and the adult couldn't be bothered, with the little kid there because this was, they had more important things to do, and just kind of told the child to go away, paid no attention to him. Just a little dismissal of someone is an indication that in the ego's terms, you're not worthy of my love or my time or my attention. So it can take many forms, this little remnant of attack. Yes. I wanted to share a personal story. It says, you are not asked to let it go, this first obstacle, for yourself alone. Christ asked it of you for himself. He'd bring peace to everyone. Well, there's a line elsewhere in the Course that really shook me years ago when it was talking about the effort to free ourselves of the ego. And it says that we sometimes are unwilling to put forth the effort because we don't feel as though we're worth it. We don't feel as though it's worth me trying. Because after all, if I'm going to live in sadness, at least it's only me that I'm doing it to. And I'm not sure I'm worth the effort, would be the ego's narration. Well, the truth is the peace in you has a purpose that the Holy Spirit has in mind to share and impact many, many others. You're not, the error is that at least I'm only hurting myself. That's not true. When you deny the peace in yourself from expressing, you hurt others, because it's either you bless them or you allow your judgments of them to be manifest. And isn't it interesting that workbook lesson 18 says that I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thinking, my perceptions? That whatever they are, we're not alone. So you're not asked to let these obstacles go for yourself alone. Well, but we're doing this on behalf of ourselves and everyone for all of our relationship.
The Holy Spirit's purpose rests in peace within you, yet you are still unwilling to let it join you wholly. You still oppose the will of God just by a little. And that little is a limit you would place upon the whole. God's will is one, not many. It has no opposition, for there is none beside it. What you would still contain behind your little barrier and keep separate from your brother seems mightier than the universe, for it would hold back the universe and its creator. This little wall would hide the purpose of heaven and keep it from heaven.
So we are just spoke about it's not for you alone. It involves everyone. And by opposing the will of God a little, you place a limit upon yourself and the power of all creation. You limit, this is littleness. This is what the ego sponsors, a littleness by limiting yourself and limiting your belief that peace is possible. And so we are engaged in a plan and a purpose that is far larger than we understand. For it is said of each of us that your part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Doesn't mean that you have to understand all the ripple effects that will ripple out into life, but know that that's how it works, because we're not alone in experiencing the effects of our perception. And so that now the ego would tell a different narrative that you're better off hiding behind your walls, hiding behind your barriers, whereas the Holy Spirit knows that when you hide behind a barrier, you're really blocking the very plan of creation from you temporarily, not forever, but in that moment, you're limiting the expansion of the light. Go ahead, Bob. You had your hand up.
Thank you, Jonica. Yeah, I read this earlier, and God showed me I still had hatred in my heart for a guy that I made amends with a bunch of years ago. And what I sensed God say to me was, would you rather be him or me? And that hatred rose up, and there's no way I want to be him. And I realized that's what my blockage is. That's part of sin. I have to see he's as good as I am. So I had a little deliverance here earlier. Just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Well, Bob, that's a mighty miracle.
Yeah, it is for me.
That's a mighty miracle. And we celebrate it with you.
I feel clean. I didn't notice it, but my heart, I can feel clean now. I was holding hatred. This has been for a few years.
Yeah.
And I'd have nightmares about him. I said, well, I'd made my amends to him. I'd say the words, but I couldn't let him go. I still had hate in my heart for him.
Thank you for sharing that, Bob. And I like the way you said it. I'm glad I'm not him.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I sense the Lord saying, that to bring out that awareness that, we're all the same.
It really, thank you, Bob. It really illustrates how the ego, that language, how the ego wants to use it to keep us separate, remind us that we are justified in believing that I'm not like that guy. Very good. Thank you, Bob. Tisha.
I want to ask Bob, after he had that awareness, like what did he do? Did you pray? Did you pray to release the hatred, or was it just the awareness and then you felt lighter?
It just happened. It was just a willingness. I heart went out with gratitude for the Holy Spirit revealing that to me. but soon as I let it go, I felt that release. My God, I've been hating this guy for years. And I have to admit, I'm no better than him. Then I start seeing the whole picture. We're all the same. There's one son, it's us, I believe we're one with our brother. Thanks for asking.
That's consistent with the teaching, let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. When we carry these old memories that would seemingly have been made amends for and be done with it, but there's still something eating away. That's one of the ways you can recognize it's still eating at you. It crops up from time to time. You have to be willing to see it exactly for what it is. It's a resentment, it's a judgment towards the other person. And that's the big part, because anybody practicing this program, when you see those resentments exactly for what they are, it becomes second nature not to want to carry it anymore and to give it over. But we have to be willing to acknowledge that we were still carrying around these grievances. Thank you, Bob, for sharing that. Okay, we'll go on.
Would you thrust salvation away from the giver of salvation? For such have you become. Peace could no more depart from you than from God. Fear not this little obstacle. It cannot contain the will of God. Peace will flow across it and join you without hindrance. Salvation cannot be withheld from you. It is your purpose. You cannot choose apart from this. You have no purpose apart from your brother, nor apart from the one you ask the Holy Spirit to share with you. The little wall will fall away so quietly beneath the wings of peace. For peace will send its messengers from you to all the world, and barriers will fall away before their coming as easily as those that you interpose will be surmounted.
Isn't that fascinating that Bob just shared how this long-term barrier fell, and it says, and barriers will fall away before they're coming as easily as those you interpose. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about, is when you're ready to recognize where the problem is,
Yeah.
and willing to let it go, it it really has no power to keep you anymore. It's a couple statements here that it is your purpose. You cannot choose apart from this. You have no purpose apart from your brother, nor apart from the Holy Spirit. The truth is, from the highest level, there's really only one purpose of all creation. All other purposes are separate purposes that would be counter to the creator's purpose. And so the truth is that we all share the same purpose. Now, intellectually, we may not be able to put words on it or have write an essay on that purpose, but the purpose is instilled as a part of our spiritual nature. And in the Course, we would refer to that purpose as the goal of truth, the goal of peace, the goal of holiness, your holy relationship, the plan of atonement. That's your purpose. Actually, the plan of atonement is only in time, and then that plan will be completed. But the goal of truth, the goal of peace, the goal of holiness, the goal of your holy relationship are forever. And all creation shares in that purpose. It's what unites us all together in a common good. And so you can have no purpose apart from your brother. You can imagine you have a purpose apart from your brother, but you don't really have a purpose, nor do you have a purpose apart from the one that the Holy Spirit is here to teach us.
To overcome the world is no more difficult than to surmount your little wall. For in the miracle of your holy relationship, without this barrier is every miracle contained. There is no order of difficulty in miracles, for they are all the same. Each is a gentle winning over from the appeal of guilt to the appeal of love. How can this fail to be accomplished wherever it is undertaken? Guilt can raise no real barriers against it. And all that seems to stand between you and your brother must fall away because of the appeal you answered. From you who answered, he who answered you would call. His home is in your holy relationship. Do not attempt to stand between him and his holy purpose, for it is yours. But let him quietly extend the miracle of your relationship to everyone contained in it as it was given.
Mm-hmm. So we've read before there's no order of difficulty in miracles, but many times we read the words and don't understand the meaning. Well, so maybe this angle of approach makes it, will strike you with understanding that this inner light, this divine peace, this holy purpose that is always ready to radiate out, there's nothing in the world that can stop it. It's the plan of all creation. And in that power is where the miracle comes from. And it, in fact, is every miracle contained within that inner power, that inner light. And therefore, it's the power of the Creator. There is no difficulty, no obstacle that cannot be overcome by this power to transform. And in this sense, you should notice this. This is actually important for you to understand. There's only one miracle. They're all the same. They're the expression of this inner light extending outward to encompass others. It always has that form. We tend to think that a miracle that happened last month, a miracle that happens today, and a miracle that happens next month are all different miracles. They are all just expressions of the same inner transformative power and plan of creation. They're not different, they're the same. And the seeming obstacles that are in their way, no one of them is any more difficult than any of the others. To the miracle, it's Bob illustrated it in his share that once he recognized that he was still carrying this grievance, and certainly he doesn't want to carry that anymore, it fell away easily. There's no difficulty once we're willing to let go. We've got to be, first of all, we know we have to see it. Let me recognize the problem, that there's this thought in my own mind, a judgment that I made that is limiting me, that is antagonistic towards others. Let me recognize that that's in my mind, and let me be willing not to carry it anymore, but instead to side with the Holy Spirit. and to not make our holy relationship homeless, but to give it a place of rest. Okay, so we'll do a few more paragraphs and then call it pause.
There is a hush in heaven, a happy expectancy, a little pause of gladness in acknowledgement of the journey's end. For heaven knows you well, as you know heaven. No illusions stand between you and your brother now. Look not upon the little wall of shadows. The sun has risen over it. How can a shadow keep you from the sun? No more can you be kept by shadows from the light in which illusions end. Every miracle is but the end of an illusion. Such was the journey, such its ending. And in the goal of truth, which you accepted, must all illusions end.
Must all illusions end. The plan of atonement, which entails all of time and the entire sonship, all of creation, is that illusions will come to an end. It was destined from the beginning that once that time would be given so that we could learn to forgive and choose for ourselves to undo the ego and to choose peace instead of this. And with that, one by one, we reach the end of the journey where all illusions have come to an end. And so these obstacles that are in the seemingly impenetrable obstacles that are in the way are the only thing that stands between our fully accepting the peace within us and letting it radiate outward. And so we have covered one of them in this session, which, to summarize, a variety of words can be used. One, it's the desire to get rid of peace and instead be something else. That's one way to express it. Another way would be the referred to often as the attraction of guilt. I'd rather judge others as guilty. Well, that's an obstacle to peace. That second way is the goal of guilt. I'd rather hold on to guilt. It would be like Bob. Sorry, Bob, this is not against you in any way. It'd be like at that point in your day, Bob could have decided, you know what? That guy deserves everything he got. And that would be a desire to keep guilt instead. I'm so glad that you didn't make that choice. But don't we do that all the time where we just decide that we're better off being right than being happy? So second way to express desire to get rid of it. Two is to hold on to our guilt. And then the third way that was expressed is this little remnant of attack, this little desire to weaponize the mind as a judge against others, to make it, rather than a blessing for others, to use it for other purposes. All those are saying the same thing. It's an opposition to the goal of tranquility, serenity, of rest and peace. So there are more goals that we will get to in our following sessions. But that's as far as we're going to go in this session. So you can see it starts out simple. and it escalates real quick to what I would call existential issues for humanity. All of humanity faces these issues. And so I would encourage you, if you're not able to attend the session live, to watch the video, or certainly read carefully over the material, and we'll pick that up in tomorrow's session. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for sharing that story. Letitia, thank you for reading. And be willing to let the goal of holiness prevail in your life. Namaste.
Yeah, Tisha. Thank you.
Thank you, Tisha.
Thank you, Tisha. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Joanna.
so
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Great reading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and love all.
Jonica?